Welcome to Drunk Bible Study. This show's mission is to read every single word of the greatest story ever told. A warning to our listeners, the hosts of this show are sinners, but they're doing their best. There will be drinking and there may be some swears. They did say they'd try to keep it clean, but I wouldn't put my money on it.
I'm Emily, and this is Drunk Bible Study, where my good friends Dedeker and Jace teach me, a born and raised atheist, all about the Bible. And we are back with more Matthew. And apparently there's going to be some discipling today, I've heard.
On the street?
Off of the presses, yes. Hot off the presses.
Who have you heard this from?
I think from y'all or from maybe the chat. Someone was like, disciples are next or something. Or was that last week? Did I?
Well, we've got a few disciples. We don't have the whole complement yet.
Yeah. What was it? Well, okay. So just to jump right in. Yeah. Last week, I felt like he was throwing out his really hot takes, and it was a lot of very famous verses that were thrown out, just one right after another. It was like his greatest hits. He was just naming them all off.
Yeah.
But then some of them, I don't recall which ones, but we were like, what? I don't know about that.
Right.
And not happy.
Yes.
Less than happy.
Yeah, so it was a lot about blessed are the meek, they shall inherit the earth.
Yeah.
If you even look at a lady the wrong way, you're committing adultery with her in your heart.
Mm-hmm.
If you say you call someone a dodo head, that's just as bad as murder.
It's not.
The classics.
Well, and there was also that classic, the thing that I think all made us go, oh, ew, yuck, was when he was like, if you divorce your wife for any reason besides infidelity on her part, then like now anyone else who's with her is an adulterer, because it was some nonsense. We were like, what? Why? Why'd you have to take it there?
Why'd you have to do that? Yeah, totally. Just hot stuff.
And so,
baby.
Hot takes on the mount. That could be our new name for this.
Yeah.
Is that going to be our worship band, our Christian worship band, Hot Takes on the Mount?
Oh, I like that.
That's really good.
It's good, right?
But that sounds like we have to do beat poetry every single song or something. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, what's stopping you?
Yeah, that makes it sound like that's a bad thing.
Yeah. Interesting. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm learning from this book yet, except for just I'm learning where these specific verses are coming from.
Mm-hmm.
This thing in Matthew.
Well, and it's valuable to get it in context, right?
That's true. Well, and you said something about that as well, right? That seeing it in context and seeing it in order, not just out of context where somebody, randomly on the street is like, blah, 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 thy neighbor or whatever.
Yeah. Blah, blah, thy neighbor.
Blah, 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 thy neighbor. And you're like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think that for this stuff at least, in terms of in context, I think mostly because this stuff, compared to the Old Testament, tends to get taught more, like reading longer passages more straight up. So I remember in a lot of the stories, back in Genesis and Exodus and stuff like that, it would be like, oh gosh, like they totally left out the very next sentence where it says, and then they killed all the women and children in the village.
Yeah.
Or, some horrible thing, right?
Yeah.
That so far this has not had any of that kind of, oh gosh, wow, that's the context that gets left out. But it's more the fact that we've read the entire Old Testament now. We have that context of when he said last week where he's like, I'm not here to change any of the laws. You still got to follow those. And then blah, blah, blah did the hot takes on the mount, right? And gave all his hot takes.
Yeah.
Like we actually have a context for
what that
for
means.
what those laws.
What that is.
Like what they originally were, what they became, how they evolved over time, realizing that, now we're a few hundred years after the latest thing we read from the Old Testament.
Yeah.
To kind of be like, it's not that much time, right? Maybe some of those laws have changed a little bit in the intervening centuries,
Mhm.
Well, it also seemed like even at the time, there was a lot of we follow the laws, we fall off, and God's angry. Then we follow the laws again, and then we fall off, and God's angry. So I don't know if there's even necessarily an unbroken chain of everyone following the Judaic law perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's interesting because I do think that The Rock has taken a bit of a backseat.
So
And,
far, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we really haven't heard from him. I'm really excited for like Gethsemane, where Jesus is talking to God in the is it a garden? Is it like a
Yeah.
courtyard or something? I don't know. Is it the patio of the restaurant that they're having the Last Supper at? Is that
The
what's
back
going
patio
on?
where all the cooks are going out to smoke and stuff.
Yeah, and the cooks are there like, why is this guy singing up to a freaking like C6? I don't know. Whatever.
Right.
Not really.
Your
He's not doing
image.
that. He's not doing that. But it's high.
Oh,
It's high in that
boy.
song. Anyways.
Goodness gracious. Yeah, I love
Okay.
that all of Emily's touch points come from musical theater.
Jesus
for the
Christ
most part.
Superstar, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
Anyways, what are you two drinking today?
I'm just having a ginger ale because I'm driving after this, so I'm being responsible, and I'm
Yeah.
Yeah.
only gonna get crunked on Christ.
Okay.
Well,
That's
nothing
fine.
You
else.
really don't need anything else, you know?
Yes.
No,
That's,
I
that's all
know.
the crunch there is. So I kind of went about, we're sort of down to the dregs of what we have in our liquor cabinet and mixers and things like that. We often seem to be in that state.
Well, you gotta fix that.
But
Jeez.
I decided to get a little bit creative and to try to make sort of a variation on maybe like a classic cocktail inspired by a margarita, kind of. So
Okay. I mean, I
So
don't know.
not a margarita, but inspired by the true story of a time that someone drank a
Inspired by-
margarita.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think what you don't have. Why don't you tell me what you do have, and then I'll be like, okay, that's very loosely inspired by a margarita. What did you have?
yeah, no, this is like after a Disney movie comes out and then they release another album that's like music inspired by The Lion King or whatever it is,
Oh,
where it's none of the
yes.
songs from
It's
it,
like the mixtape.
but it's
yeah.
all kind of in the style, sort of, right?
Okay.
So here's what it is. So I have obviously
Terramana.
the Rocks Tequila,
Yeah.
Terramana, the Añejo, so it's aged.
Uh-huh.
And then what I didn't have was any of the orange something, right? Like a blue curacao or or whatever,
Mhm.
right? I didn't have any of that.
What? Blue curacao?
Orange.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yeah. No,
Orange
Dedeker, he means like
flavor.
triple sec.
Yeah.
He means like
Yeah.
triple sec, which is the additional citrus.
Right.
Like usually you have like Grand Marnier or something along
Yeah.
those lines, something to throw in there, or triple sec if you want to get kind of really sweet with it.
Right. And so blue curacao is basically the same flavor as triple sec. It's just
Mhm.
blue. So you can
Ew.
make fun colors, right?
Okay.
Anyway, so what I did have was a different type of Grand Marnier that does
Mhm.
have some orange liqueur mixed in.
Mhm.
So it's got more of that orangey flavor. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm halfway there, right?
yeah.
So I did that. And then I was like, how do I jazz this up? And so I was like, I'll put some Peychaud's bitters in here because they're bitters, but they're a little bit milder. So I'm like, okay, go with that to add a little, excitement. And then my glass was not very full. So I was like, normally then it would be, some kind of filler,
Lemon,
sweet
lime.
and sour or something, right?
Yeah.
For the rest. And I'm like, well, I
Something
don't have
sweet,
that.
yeah.
So I did a raspberry rose kombucha to fill up the rest. And it's pretty good. I gotta
All
say.
right, that's a lot closer to a margarita than I expected it to be.
Oh, okay.
Like you basically could have just said it was a kombucha margarita mule or something. I don't know. Well done. So I'm glad that you like it. Yeah.
That's fun. Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. I also have a little bit of ginger beer today with vodka, some orange juice, some lime, and some, what is it? Grenadine. I was like, what a Shirley Temple is made out of. Grenadine. Yeah, that's it. So all of that together. Yeah, it's very tasty. And then I have these beautiful strawberries that I was like, it kind of is a strawberry color. So
Love that.
we're going to put one on there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know what? I didn't even think about that. We also have strawberries. I could have added
You
some
should
of
have
that.
just put
to
one on there just for
Yeah.
fun.
Just
or
for
muddle
fun.
it.
You're right.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, wow. Boy, okay. Well,
Go
before we
nuts.
get too distracted talking about all the potential drinks that we could make, let's talk about what we're reading today. Yeah?
Yeah, what are we reading?
Yes. What we got?
Right. So today we are going to be continuing on with our very exciting time reading Jesus. I'm not sure if we've continued the Sermon on the Mount or if this is moving on to something else. I'm actually not totally sure where we left off.
We're rolling with the hits from what I can see.
So we're continuing the serm.
Yes, the
I think
sermon.
we might still be hot takes on the Mount. Yeah.
Hot takes on the hill.
Okay.
Hot takes.
on the-
That's really
'Cause,
good.
Yeah, you said
hot
it's kind
takes
of a
on the
hill.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So hot takes on the hill. We're reading that. We're continuing on now with Matthew, chapters 7 through 9. As we get started, we want to remind everyone to read responsibly and drink responsibly.
You can drink along with us, or you can listen to us while you're in the car.
But please do not do both at the same time.
And with that, it's time for Matthew, chapter 7.
I feel like I'm under a cabana or something. It's pretty fun. Yeah.
I love that. I love that.
I know. It's beautiful out.
Matthew 7. Don't judge so that you won't be judged. For with whatever judgment you judge, you will be judged.
Oh my
and
God.
with and
Can
with
you say judged some more, please?
and with whatever measure you measure, it will be measured to you.
Ooh.
To Zombocom.
Uh,
Welcome you to Zombocom. Yeah, that was a yucky translation. It was just sort of messy.
Uh-huh.
But this is the whole
Yeah.
do not judge, for you too will be judged. For in the same way you judge others, you will be judged. And the measure you use, it will be measured to you, is the NIV.
Okay.
Or, King James is, for with what judgment ye judge, ye shall be judged. Or Tyndale, of course, is, Eugene not that ye not be Eugene. So,
What? Eugene?
Jace, you're being really yudgy right now.
yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Eugene. Oh, I see. Judgy. But-
IUDJED. Eugene.
I see.
Eugene.
Got it. Okay.
Okay. Why do you see the speck in your brother's eye, but don't consider the beam that is in your own eye? This is a hot one, Emily. I don't know if you've heard that one before.
Yeah. I don't think I've heard it quite like that
Well,
before.
fair.
What is it? This isn't an eye for an eye. This is more like
Nope.
don't point out somebody else's fault when you've got a lot of faults yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's pot calling
Dude.
the kettle black.
Right.
Okay.
Or,
Yeah. So it's usually like, why do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the plank in your own eye? Like you got even more going on
You
here.
got just a giant plank coming out of your
Yeah.
eye. It's
It's-
very strange. It's like,
Yeah.
Jesus, is that the best you got? Okay.
Right. Or how will you tell your brother, let me remove the speck from your eye, and behold, the beam is in your own eye.
Well, he was a carpenter, so
Okay.
Mm,
Okay.
Right.
Got it. Sawdust.
he's got lived experience with digging sawdust out of
Yeah,
eyeballs.
beams.
That's true.
Got it. Okay.
That is his main frame of reference. You hypocrite! First, remove the beam out of your own eye, and then you can see clearly to remove the speck out of your brother's eye. So I've always been a fan of this little section here, actually. Just the whole
Work on yourself first.
don't get all high and mighty here till you figure yourself out first. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 6. Don't give that which is holy to the dogs, neither throw your pearls before the pigs, lest perhaps they trample them under their feet and turn and tear you to pieces.
Boy, I didn't
What?
realize that was. Well, you know, pearls before swine, the phrase, and also comic strip.
No.
You
Oh,
don't
you've never
know
heard that
either of those
phrase?
things?
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Really?
Mm-mm.
Oh.
Please elaborate.
You've never heard the phrase pearls before swine?
I don't believe so.
Well, any guesses about what it might mean?
Like you can't eat pearls? I don't know.
Like pigs can't eat pearls?
No,
No.
like I don't know. What is it? don't neither throw your pearls before the pigs, lest perhaps they trample them under their feet and turn and tear you to pieces. I see. So yeah, you can't like give something that a pig wouldn't eat to them and expect them to not want to turn on you and kill you instead.
But what do you think the metaphorical meaning might be?
I mean, that's a hot take. Yeah.
I don't know. Don't be a dingbat. Give the pigs the right thing to eat.
Only give corn to pigs.
There you go. True vegan. Okay, tell me what it is.
Well, the way I always understood here, but is basically don't give dogs what's sacred and don't give pearls to pigs. Kind of being like, they don't appreciate it.
I say.
That's not what they're interested in. So don't waste all your good stuff on them, which I think metaphorically is, I guess, like, don't give all your best stuff to, I don't know, maybe people that don't appreciate it, or don't give your best like wisdom to people that don't appreciate it.
Okay.
Okay, I just have to point out that John Dolph in the chat is saying that the Latin term for pearls that's used in the Vulgate is margaritas. Margaritas.
Don't give your
I love
margaritas
that.
to pigs.
So don't give any margaritas to pigs.
I love that.
Don't give a margarita to a pig. I love it.
Can we please know what the message says?
Oh, yeah.
listeners?
That's a fun idea. Wow, he really took some liberties here.
See, nobody knows.
I mean, he's got the same meaning here, but he's just decided to really be colorful in his language.
Okay.
Don't be flip with the sacred.
What?
Banter and silliness give no honor to God. Whoops. Don't reduce holy mysteries to slogans. In trying to be relevant, you're only being cute and inviting sacrilege.
Whoa, interesting.
Wow.
Eugene.
Okay, that's not
Interesting.
Yeah.
quite what we just said that was
That
about.
sounds like some commentary that's been on his heart for a while.
Well, that's a
Well-
lot of this interpretation of this book from him, right?
I mean, to be fair, it's a fair criticism one could level against Eugene for writing the message.
right? Yeah.
Right? In
Eugene,
trying to be relevant.
speck in your own eye.
Yeah.
I mean,
The
or plank in your own eye.
Exactly.
Copy of the message in your own eyeball.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, there you go.
Right. Don't criticize the translation in your brother's eye. Look at the message Bible in your own eye. Okay.
Exactly.
Interesting. All right, cool. Let's see. Moving on here to
Verse 7.
verse 7. Ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you will find. Knock, and it will be opened for you. For everyone who asks receives. He who seeks finds. To him who knocks, it will be open. You heard this before, Em? The seek and ye shall find.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah.
I've heard that. Yeah.
That's where it comes from. It's all from here.
Cool. Okay. Yeah.
Or who is there among you who, if his son asks for bread, will give him a stone? Or if he asks for a fish, who will give him a serpent? If you then, being evil, know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more will your Father who is in heaven give good things to those who ask him?
Interesting. That's like a prayer telling everyone to go pray and ask and you shall receive.
Like, go ask.
Mm.
Just offer up your Christmas list.
Oh, yeah.
This is my grown-up Christmas list. Christmas wish? Is that how that song goes?
I don't know, because I've always hated that song. So
What, a Santa baby?
no, my grown-up
grown-up-
Christmas wish or list or whatever it is.
Yeah.
What in the world is that? That is not a Christmas carol.
It's a
It's
horrible song.
You know it. You know it, Em.
Do I?
No more lives torn apart, and wars would never start, and time would heal all hearts. Who is it? Mariah Carey or something?
It's Amy Grant.
Amy Grant, right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
That left my thoughts probably since
Mhm.
like the 90s when I heard it the first time.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Therefore, whatever you desire for men to do to you, you shall also do to them, for this is the law and the prophets. Okay, that sentence didn't make a ton of sense right there. But boy, the hits just keep coming, don't they?
We're going to get this over and over again, aren't we?
You've heard that one before, right? That's the whole do unto others as you would have them do unto you. That's
Okay. Yeah.
all right
Whatever
here.
you desire for men to do to you, you shall also do to them. Okay.
Yeah.
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 Got it. Cool.
or treat others as you'd like to be treated, like all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff, right?
Yeah,
Right here.
yeah.
Real hot
Yeah.
hits.
There you
Hot
go.
hits. Top 40s Billboard chart right here.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. We should do a top 40 for Jesus, like his 40 greatest hits.
Of like parables, sayings, phrases,
Sure.
miracles, everything.
Yeah, little aphorisms. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
There you go.
Well, we're going to read all of his stuff 4 times. So I guess it gives us some chance to really
There you go.
evaluate
there you
our
go.
favorite hits of all this. Okay, verse 13. Enter in by the narrow gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the way that leads to destruction, and many are those who enter by it. How narrow is the gate and restricted is the way that leads to life. Few are those who find it.
Mm-hmm.
Beware of false prophets
I've
who
heard
come to
that.
you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly are ravening wolves.
Whoa. So what does that mean exactly? Like somebody who says that they're a good person, but they're actually like a wolf in sheep's clothing?
I mean, that's literally it, right? Or like
Yeah.
a prophet who's trying to sell you a bill of goods.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, the whole false prophets thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Someone's like, oh, I know the truth. Follow me, kids.
Mhm.
But actually, it's your grandma or a wolf in your grandma's clothes.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a grandma in your wolf's clothes.
Or it is
Yeah.
your grandma, weirdly.
By their fruits you will know them. Do you gather grapes from thorns or figs from thistles? I'm assuming the answer is no. Even so,
No.
every good tree produces good fruit, but the corrupt tree produces evil fruit.
I think the fruit that's just a funny thing to say about the tree. Like it probably just like had a bad year. I don't know. It's not an evil tree.
Yeah, he didn't really cover that. It's like a
Yeah.
temporarily evil tree, you know?
Well,
Mm,
the whole point of it, though, is supposed to be like the way you determine a false prophet from a true one is by looking at the results
got it.
of their work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of their fruits. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's a good thing, like for influencers nowadays, to be like,
Yeah.
should I really listen to what this person is saying?
That's fair.
Where's
Yeah,
the fruits of their labor as a tree?
exactly?
Yeah.
Are
Yeah.
they an evil tree or are they a good tree?
There you go.
A good tree can't produce evil fruit. Neither can a corrupt tree produce good fruit. Every tree that doesn't grow good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. Therefore, by their fruits you will know them. Not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter into the kingdom of heaven,
Oh,
but he who does the will of my Father who is in heaven.
wait. What? What does that mean? Lord, Lord.
Well, what do you think?
Like you have to do more than just say the word Lord. You have to be like, you have to find him in your heart.
Well, I think in this
Yeah.
case,
What if you've read his whole book?
I mean, yeah, that's a good start. I think he's
Uh-huh.
more about like you have to do the right things, not just say the right things, is how I would interpret
Mhm.
that. Because he
Mhm.
says, only one who does the will of my Father, right?
Yeah.
You got to practice what you preach kind of a thing, maybe.
Can I just ask something real quick? Because I've heard from people that, like, okay, even if you're a good person, but you don't believe, like, in God, like, you're not going to get into heaven. But, like, if you're a person who's, like, committed adultery or any number of other sins, but you believe in God, you're still going to get into heaven. So, like, what's up with that?
Oh, we could go on for hours
Okay.
about this.
Do you want to,
Yeah.
like, have one hot take a piece?
Ooh, one apiece.
Okay.
I'm just going to say, I'm pretty sure my partner's mother definitely thinks I'm going to go to hell. And that's why she's so excited that I'm doing this podcast, because eventually I'm going to become Christian.
Yeah, I'm sure she's gonna be really excited when she finds out we've reached the Gospels.
Uh-huh.
We've
Oh,
actually
yeah,
reached the
yeah.
Jesus times. Okay, one hot take apiece. My hot take on the hill is that I know something that was my experience being a child, being raised in the Christian church. And this is an experience I've heard from other people who were raised in the Christian church as children who have since deconverted or deconstructed or whatever, right? Many people talk about the confusion of what they were taught because certain schools of Christianity sort of talk out of both sides of their mouth, I think.
I mean,
You
on
know,
a lot of things, right?
Well, on a lot of things, yes. And on this also. But on the one hand, the sales pitch is it doesn't matter what terrible things you've done. We're all sinful. If you just accept the Lord Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, you're going to get into heaven. That's all it takes. You're saved. From that moment on, you are saved. You are good. You're going to get into heaven. That's all you need.
That seems like a fairly low bar to clear for some people.
Yes, correct.
But then what if you're like, actually, nah, eventually? Because she still thinks that my partner is going to get into heaven, even though he's definitely an atheist now.
Okay, well, so then that's the other side of the mouth of what they're saying out the other side, right? But then there's the logistics of like, but wait, people could just say that and then they could still do bad or hurtful things. And so there is a little bit of a weird, like, yeah, you should still try to be good, but it's not just about being good, but you should still try to be good. There is, I think, a push-pull, a tension around, can you lose being saved or not?
That's a good question.
Some people very much being like, yes, you totally can. And like, if you're bad enough, if you don't walk the walk, as it were. And some people being like, no, once you're in, you're in. And so myself, and I think a lot of my peers who grew up in the Christian church, describe being really anxious as children, right? And like sometimes doing that weird, like, I'm going to re-up just in case. I'm going to accept Jesus Christ again just in case, because I may have lost it in the so because it's very confusing.
Wow.
So
that's scary as a young person, I'm sure.
It is.
Jace?
Well, I was just going to say it's an interesting one where the Catholics kind of divide from the Protestants on this, where in the Catholic faith, there's not only do you need to accept Jesus first, like that's first requirement, but you also have to do good works and sort of also earn with righteousness your way into heaven, that you can't just do the one. However, if you just do good things but don't also believe in Jesus, then you don't get in. It's like you need to have both to get in, is the idea. Whereas, again, like the Protestant thing is there are some schools of thought where it's like, yeah, as long as you accept Jesus, you can do literally whatever and you're fine.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they're like, oh, but don't do that. We don't think that's good. But you're fine though.
But you don't literally believe in Jesus anymore. But you're fine though. You're still going to go to heaven.
But also it's like if you're on your deathbed and like the last act you do on earth is accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, they're like, oh, thank God you're going to be in heaven, right? Doesn't matter how horrible you were up to that point. You know, it's all the goalposts kind of shift and move. Yeah, someone in the chat pointed out that like who gets which message is very inconsistent.
Yeah, I bet. That's tough. That's going to be tough as a young person.
I would also say that just for your particular question there, I would bet that most Christians who are not this person's mom would say that he's not getting into heaven anymore if he doesn't still believe. I think that as the mom, there's some certain mental gymnastics you might be inclined to do.
That makes sense.
To not be so upset. So that's my hot take on the hill. Okay, moving on.
All right.
Well, and I just want to say a lot of people in the chat are sharing, relating to this, the like stress and anxiety and guilt and shame.
Thank you for sharing, everyone.
Thank you for sharing. This is part of why we drink.
Yeah.
While reading this
It helps
stuff.
us read this book.
For sure. Yeah. Gosh. Okay, let's see here. Where did I leave off?
You're at 22.
Yes, thank you. Many will tell me in that day, Lord, Lord, didn't we prophesy in your name? In your name cast out demons, and in your name do many mighty works? Then I will tell them, I never knew you.
Oof, rough. Ouch.
Dang.
Depart from me, you who work iniquity. Everyone, therefore, who hears these words of mine and does them, I will liken him to a wise man who built his house on a rock. The rain came down, the floods came, and the winds blew and beat on the house, and it didn't fall, for it was founded on the rock. Everyone who hears these words of mine and doesn't do them will be like a foolish man who built his house on the sand. The rain came down, the floods came, and the winds blew and beat on that house, and it fell, and great was its fall.
Is this like a song?
Yes, it is a song.
It is a song, yes.
Okay. I feel like I've heard.
Built his
House upon the rock.
Yeah.
A wise man built his house upon the rock. Yeah.
Oh, I felt like it was more like a rock song.
Oh.
No.
I mean, we can make a rock
Maybe not.
version.
I mean, it's about a rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's about the rock. No, I'm
Also
kidding.
that
But
too,
maybe
I
I'm not
guess.
kidding.
Have you heard this parable, the whole house built on the rock versus house built on sand?
And on the rock, it's going to stand tall, and on the sand, it's going to be pushed around and fall down like the Three Little Pigs, maybe?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Have you?
essentially.
Yeah.
Got it.
Are you just saying
I mean, this
you've read The
is-
Three Little Pigs and therefore you've read this story?
I have.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, this is very common Sunday school fodder. Many object
Yeah.
lessons
Oh, yes.
in my Sunday school
Yeah.
classes, literally demonstrating how
Mhm.
if you super glue a plastic Monopoly house onto a rock
Oh.
versus if you just put it on a pile of
You'll
sand
be
and pour
fine.
water
You'll
over
be
it,
fine.
different results.
Got it.
Yep.
Okay.
It happened when Jesus had finished saying these things that the multitudes were astonished at his teachings,
Oh.
for he taught them with authority and not like the scribes.
Wait, what does that mean?
Those guys suck at teaching. They are
Apparently,
terrible public
geez.
speakers. This guy rules.
Maybe, okay, I'm assuming the scribes, maybe they were very shamey. I mean, not that this isn't shamey.
I mean, yeah, exactly. Like, come on, it's sort of more of the same, but I guess Jesus was a good public speaker. Like, I've gotten that much from
Sure, yeah.
this and from hearing about him before this.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
good.
yeah,
That's
these are
what he
some
did.
hot takes. He's
Mhm.
taking a different approach to it. He's using all these parables and metaphors that maybe haven't been done before. And so
Mhm.
he's just a real disruptor, you know, a real
Ooh, yeah.
influencer.
Yeah,
speaking of.
he's disrupting before disrupting was a thing.
Oh
Mhm.
gosh.
There you go.
Okay. So Angry Dorito pointed out in the chat that the Message Bible's pretty good at the end here. It says, when Jesus concluded his address, the crowd burst into applause. They had never heard teaching like this. It was apparent that he was living everything he was saying. Quite a contrast to their religion teachers. This was the best teaching they had ever heard.
Wow.
Okay. I don't really appreciate the fact that in order to pump Jesus up, we have to like throw everyone else like under the bus
Interesting.
and be like, oh, everyone else sucks at this, but Jesus is amazing.
But this
I
is
don't
like,
know.
okay, is it sort of
I
like
feel like he wouldn't like that.
modern day hot take influencer culture where you don't need to write an academic essay? You just got to have a pithy statement or three.
And good delivery,
Right?
good
Sure.
quality
A
delivery. yeah.
Like good delivery where you're just like very confident.
Or be like a beautiful person.
yeah.
Well, yeah, but we learned before that Jesus was a 2. So
Well, maybe Jesus is it too, but yeah, okay, fine. So he's not like a professional pretty person. He's a professional.
but- But he's still a man, right? So he gets more of a pass
Yeah,
if he's not
oh,
pretty.
for sure.
Like he can just be
Sure.
confident
100%.
and
Sure.
pithy
Yes.
and get by.
Yeah.
also,
Totally.
I love the idea that we could apply to Jesus, like the typical 90s romantic comedy trope where you have a really, really beautiful, attractive female actor playing the lead,
Mhm.
but she's got like glasses and a ponytail, and everyone's like, oh, she's ugly and nerdy and we don't like her. And then she has her transformation partway through where suddenly she's hot. I like that because we've cast Chiwetel Ejiofor as Jesus in this book.
Who's definitely not a 2.
He is right,
God.
very attractive man. But we could do a similar vibe, right? Where everyone's like, oh man, that guy's ugly, but I guess I'll follow him anyway. And then you look at him and you're like, what? Am I?
Yeah. So I am wondering like who's going to be the Mary in this scenario. And you said 90s, so I immediately
Mary
I was thinking.
Magdalene, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, well, we haven't even gotten there.
Yeah, we haven't gotten there yet.
I know we haven't, but I know she's coming because I don't know how to love him. So. Oh, I love that. Is Mary Magdalene Rachel A. Cook? I loved that. I also thought immediately of Meg Ryan because like she's the ultimate
Ooh,
90s
that's
star.
good.
That's fun.
Oh, that's good.
She's
Okay.
old now, but
All right, we'll think
she
about
wasn't
it.
once.
We'll think about it.
Okay, all right, let's go. Let's go on to the next one.
Chapter 8.
8. When he came down from the mountain, great multitudes followed him. Behold, oh shit. Is this going to happen? I heard about this, I think,
Oh.
or something. Behold, a leper came to him and worshipped him, saying, Lord, if you want to, you can make me clean. Jesus. Jesus stretched out his hand and touched him, saying, I want to be made clean. Who wrote this?
I don't remember that wording for this story.
Immediately his leprosy was cleansed. Good Lord. I'm sorry. There's a lot of problematic things just like in those 2 sentences, but okay.
You mean just weirdly worded, or do you actually mean problematic?
Yeah,
What are you talking about?
I don't know. I don't know. I kind of, it's challenging because, there's a lot of talk in like disabled communities being like, no, like we are fine with our disabilities. We don't want people to be like, oh, it needs to be cured or whatever. I'm not saying it's exactly the same thing here, but my mind goes to that automatically and is kind of like, that's where people go, oh, we're going to like cure your blindness or you can walk now or whatever the heck.
Well, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very different time though, right? And not just a
Yes.
different time in the sense of people have different attitudes towards disease and disability at this time.
Yeah.
But also different time of like, yeah, if you develop a skin disease, and by the way, like at this time, all skin diseases are being called leprosy because we can't tell the difference, right? For the most part.
So it could be literally anything.
Could be eczema or
Yes.
whatever.
Right.
But
He
like
had a
literally
zit.
you're exiled.
He had a zit, and Jesus was like, boop, gone.
Ew.
Well, then I wish I had a Jesus when I was like 15 and through 30. But thanks, Jesus, for not being there for
The whole
me.
point I'm trying to make though is like you got a skin disease and you're literally exiled, right? Like
Yeah.
cut off from your family and any kind of social support. It's not like, oh, I'm embarrassed to go out because I have a zit, right? So it's like the stakes are a little bit higher towards
get
wanting
that.
to be cured.
I do. Yeah, I do get that. It's an interesting conundrum to look at like nowadays, for instance, when I think our ideas on that particular subject have changed a great deal. So
Sure.
just something to think about. As so many parts of this book
Yeah.
are something to think about. Jesus said to him, "See that you tell nobody, but go, show yourself to the priest and offer the gift that Moses commanded as a testimony to them." When he came into Capernaum,
Sure.
what is that?
Let's call it Capernaum.
Capernaum.
Ow.
A centurion came to him, asking him and saying, "Lord, my servant lies in the house paralyzed, grievously tormented." Jesus said to him, "I will come and heal him." The centurion answered, "Lord, I am not worthy for you to come under my roof. Just say the word and my servant will be healed." What? Okay, he doesn't even like have to go. He's just like, word, and then like the guy will be healed like from a different room.
I
don't
guess
know.
that's the idea.
"For I am also a man under authority, having under myself soldiers. I tell this one, go, and he goes, and tell another, come, and he comes, and tell my servant, do this, and he does it." When Jesus heard it, he marveled and said to those who followed, "Most assuredly, I tell you, I haven't found so great a faith, not even in Israel. I tell you that many will come from the east and the west and will sit down with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven, but the children of the kingdom will be thrown out into the outer darkness. There will be weeping and the gnashing of teeth." Jesus said to the centurion, "Go your way. Go your own way. Let it be done for you as you have believed." His servant was healed that hour. Okay, what just happened?
So
Well,
there's a lot.
yeah.
There's a lot to this
He
one.
just was like,
yes.
yeah.
So the centurion came up and said, "Hey, I have a servant who's ill. I want you to heal him."
Yeah. Mhm.
And Jesus was like, "Sure, dude." And he's like, no. You don't have to go. You can just say that he'll be healed and then he will be healed. Like, that's how I do my job.
It's like he believed. It's like
he
a
believed, yeah.
Tinkerbell type of situation.
Yeah, okay.
Tinkerbell.
A little bit of a Tinkerbell kind of
Got
situation.
it.
Yeah.
Okay. I see what we're dealing with here now. Got it.
And then Jesus was like, y'all, listen up. This dude, he believes.
This dude.
This dude rules, right? That's what he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why this particular story is a significant one is also that this is one of the places that is used as a defense of gay relationships in the Bible. So here's the deal.
Defense.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Like,
this
okay.
is a Roman centurion
Uh-huh.
who's coming to Jesus to heal his like servant, is what he calls him, or slave, or whatever word that he used.
But it could be like his Jonathan to David.
It could be his Jonathan.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the deal is
Got
that
it.
one
Okay.
is that I guess the Greek word that is used here to describe this boy throws this into question, but also why would a centurion care this much about a servant?
Mm.
And at the time, it was common practice for men to have young men lovers.
Mhm.
Now, the unfortunate part is that he was most likely an underage boy,
Mhm.
and that's its own whole problematic thing. But the idea is that he came up to Jesus to be like, heal my lover, this boy that I care a lot about. And Jesus, instead of going into some kind of lecture about, well,
being like, ew.
no, because you're
He was
horrible.
like, sure.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, this guy has faith more than all of y'all. You should learn from this guy. So anyway,
Okay.
just want to throw that out there.
Fine,
That's
Jesus.
one of
Fine.
those stories
Good job.
there. Yeah.
You get a point. Okay.
1 point for Jesus.
One
Maybe
point,
multiple
okay.
points. When Jesus came into Peter's house, he saw his wife's mother lying sick with fever. Like Peter's wife's mother, I think is what?
Yeah, so Peter's
Okay.
mother-in-law.
Got it. He touched her hand and the fever left her. She got up and served him. Okay. When evening came, they brought to him many possessed with demons. Oh shit, he's like an exorcist now.
Yeah.
Cool. He has a lot of jobs. He cast out the spirits with a word and healed all those who were sick. I wonder what the word was. That it might be fulfilled, which was spoken through Isaiah the prophet, saying, he took our infirmities and bore our diseases. Now, when Jesus saw great multitudes around him, he gave the order to depart to the other side. A scribe came to him and said, Teacher, I will follow you wherever you go. Jesus said to him, the foxes have holes and the birds of the sky have nests, but the Son of Man has nowhere to lay his head. Well, they have like homes, hopefully.
Is this him just being like, I'm a digital nomad, baby?
I don't know, maybe.
So Eugene says, are you ready to rough it? We're not staying in the best inns, you know.
Got it. Okay, I think Dedeker was spot on. Spot on. Another of his disciples said to him, Lord, allow me first to go and bury my father. But Jesus said to him, follow me and leave the dead to bury their own dead.
But don't,
That's
Jesus,
weird.
you don't
Yeah.
understand.
That's weird.
Yeah, this one always surprised me a little bit. And I think it
He's
falls
like,
into
nah,
that.
I'm more important.
Right. It falls into that same category of like, dude, you were crushing it. And then suddenly you say something really weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've
Okay, whatever,
this one
man.
comes up a lot in sermons and things like that, but always
Leave
in
the
this,
dead to bury your dead.
at least in my experience, in this kind of weird roundabout way that pastors would go about trying to preach on this one, because it is kind of this weird thing that you don't really want to say to anyone.
Yeah, it's not like, oh, don't mourn the dead.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It's like, no, just come follow me instead.
yeah. So I've never known what to make of this one, to be honest.
Strange.
I mean, that like these sentiments start to make Jesus sound a little bit more on the cult leader side of things rather than just like a charismatic leader, because that makes me think of cult leader stuff where it's like, no, nothing outside of this is important. No family relationships, no social relationships.
It's probably
Like,
a
this
little
is the most
column A, a little
important
column B. Yeah.
Yeah.
When he got into a boat, his disciples followed him. Behold, a great tempest arose in the sea, so much that the boat was covered with the waves. But he was asleep. They came to him and woke him up, saying, Save us, Lord, we are dying. He said to them, Why are you fearful, O you of little faith? Oh, yeah, O ye of little faith.
Yeah.
I've heard
Oh,
that.
yeah. Classic.
Yeah. He kind of sounds like a dick sometimes. I'm sorry. Just a little bit. He's like, guys, I was napping. Then he got up, rebuked the wind and the sea, and there was a great calm. What does that mean? Like he rebuked it. He was like, ugh, wind,
You
shut
should feel
up.
terrible. You should feel ashamed of yourselves.
Yeah, there you go. The men marveled, saying, What kind of man is this, that even the wind and the sea obey him? Is he Poseidon? When he came to the other side, into the country of the Gergesenes,
Gergesenes?
oh, thank you, Dedeker. Gergesenes. Two people
Just a guess.
possessed by demons met him there, coming out of the tombs, exceedingly fierce, so that nobody could pass their way.
Wow.
Wait, I don't remember a lot of like demon people in the Old Testament.
Yeah, I guess we didn't spend a lot of time talking about demon-possessed people.
I thought we had a couple stories about it.
But they're like every other word now. No, we're not really.
At least in this section, yeah, a lot of demons for sure.
Yeah, a lot of demons.
Or at least a lot of people with some mental health issues, potentially. Who the heck knows?
Well, that was a lot of the prophets back then, too.
Right, yeah.
Behold, they cried out, saying, What do we have to do with you, Jesus, Son of God? Have you come here to torment us before the time? Now there was a herd of many pigs feeding far away from them. The demons begged him, saying, "If you cast us out, permit us to go away into the herd of pigs." He said to them, "Go." They came out and went into the herd of pigs, and behold, the whole herd of pigs rushed down the cliff into the sea and died in the water. That's horrible.
Yeah.
Those who fed them fled and went away into the city and told everything, including what happened to those who were possessed with demons. Behold, all the city came out to meet Jesus. When they saw him, they begged that he would depart from their borders. What just
The
happened?
entire city,
Yeah.
the entire city is like, you should leave.
They were like, WTF.
You're cattle rustling. You're pig rustling.
Right. Yeah.
I'm sorry, what just happened?
Yeah. Okay. So this is one of those funny ones that takes a turn you didn't expect.
No, there were a lot of turns there.
The demon-possessed dudes that had been terrorizing this area, and I guess Jesus was speaking to the demons in them. And the demons were like, whoa, don't like banish us completely. Let us be in these pigs. And Jesus, I guess, takes mercy on the demons and is like, okay, fine. I'll throw you into those pigs. And the pigs go run off a cliff into the ocean or whatever. And then
Die.
all the farmers in the village that owned those pigs and probably relied on them for sustenance
Got it.
were like, dude,
Like, you got to go.
dude, get out of here. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes more sense. That makes more sense.
And that's it. That's the end of the chapter. Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, that was really weird, but okay.
We should take a little break to let that settle with
yeah,
us.
it's funny because there are all these hits and then you get this little moment where you're like, what? Huh?
It keeps you on your
Okay.
toes. It's good. You can't
It
just
does.
tune
It does.
out. Can't bliss out too much.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a quick break to talk about some ways that you can support this show. If you're enjoying this content, if you're stoked to be crunked on Christ with us, reading all of this and, maybe hopefully learning something, growing as a person, all that kind of stuff, right? If any of those things are true, we would love for your help. And the best way you can do that is just tell more people about the show. Get your friends who you think would be into this. I have personally found it is a lot easier to pitch people on listening to the show now that we're in the New Testament.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, Old Testament has a bad rap.
First of all, you tell them, we've been doing this for 5 years and we finally got here. They're like, okay, this is legit. You're not just messing around and you're going to back out on this. Like, you've actually made it this far.
Oh, we don't pod fade, okay?
No, we do not.
Okay.
And then the second part is that it's the New Testament, right? So everyone's like, right, those are things I know. I'll hear your hot takes on the Hill about those. So definitely tell your friends and then come check out the live shows. If you've been waiting, trying to decide if you want to check them out, they're a ton of fun. It's every Thursday. You can find out more info about that at drunkbiblestudy.com/live. We do that every week on Twitch. And we would love to have you here in the chat joining us for this. And then lastly, if you're able to support us financially, that helps a lot. We don't have normal advertisers on this show generally. And so we are entirely funded by our patrons. If you go to patreon.com/drunkbiblestudy, that's where you can give a little bit each month to help support this show. And as a thank you, we have things like early releases of episodes, personal toasts on the show, Emily's drink recipes, and of course, our undying affection.
And we are back. We're going to bring this home with Matthew chapter 9. He entered into a boat and crossed over and came into his own city.
So he just kind of glossed over what just happened with that?
Yeah, well, they told him to leave, so
Okay.
he's like, all right.
He's like,
Okay.
bye. Got it. Okay, cool.
Behold, they brought to him a man who was paralyzed, lying on a bed. Jesus, seeing their faith, said to the paralytic, "Son, cheer up. Your sins are forgiven you."
See, exactly what I said before.
Mm-hmm.
Whew.
Behold, some of the scribes said to themselves, "This man blasphemes." Jesus, knowing their thoughts, said, "Why do you think evil in your hearts? For which is easier, to say, 'Your sins are forgiven,' or to say, 'Get up and walk'? But that you may know that the Son of Man has authority on earth to forgive sins." Then he said to the paralytic, "Get up and take up your mat and go up to your house." He arose and departed to his house.
Is that saying essentially that because the sins were forgiven, he also could walk?
I think it was Jesus was like, not only can I forgive this person's sins, I'm going to do you
Also, do you a solid, do you a second solid.
And heal your paralysis.
Okay.
It kind of felt like that was more actually for the benefit of the scribes, because the guy came up.
Sure.
So the way I interpreted it was, right, so the guys brought up their friend who was paralyzed and said, hey, can you bless him or whatever? And Jesus was like, yeah, man, sin's forgiven. No problem. Probably because for this guy, he can't enter the temple because he would be deemed unclean. And it would be hard for him to go up and...
paralyzed?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Pretty much
baked into quite a
anything.
bit of Levitical law. Was like, yeah,
Jesus.
if you're disabled in any way or disfigured or anything like that, you can't go into the temple.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
And I mean, I don't know that you have to go into the temple. Maybe you could have someone do that sacrifice for you. I'm not sure. But either way, obviously it would be harder for this person. So Jesus is like, no worries, man. I got you. Sin's forgiven. Done.
Okay.
And then the scribes are like, you can't do that. And Jesus is like, yeah,
And he's like,
can't I?
Watch me.
Watch what else I can do. Boom. Heals the guy. And then he gets up and walks.
I feel like he's kind of just like posturing at this point a little bit.
Yeah, this Jesus for sure. I mean, we haven't had any other Jesus to compare it to yet.
Okay.
But this Jesus feels like a real swaggerer.
Yeah.
It's got a certain
Detachment
swagger.
drift.
I like that. Yeah,
Yes.
that's fun.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Mm-hmm.
But when the multitude saw it, they marveled and glorified God who had given such authority to men. As Jesus passed by from there, he saw a man called Matthew sitting.
Oh,
Is that...
this guy?
Is
I
that
think,
the same Matthew?
I think it's supposedly
meant to be the same
Matthew.
Matthew.
Yeah.
Supposedly the same Matthew. Yes. He didn't write in parentheses being like, that's me. So unclear.
The writer of this book.
He saw a man called Matthew sitting at the tax collection office. He said to him, follow me. He got up and followed him.
Well, of course he
It's the
did.
simplest interaction ever.
Of course he was.
Now, was he sitting at the tax collection office because he worked there, or he was there to pay his taxes or to like file
I'm pretty
his
sure he
W-2s?
worked. I'm pretty sure he was a tax collector.
Yeah.
Oh,
'cause
was he?
As it goes on to explain, it happened as he sat in the house. Behold, many tax collectors and sinners came and sat down with Jesus and his disciples. So we didn't touch on this last time, but this whole tax collector thing, my understanding of it, what I was taught was everyone hated the tax collectors, not just because they were collecting taxes, but because they were, I guess, a little exploitative also, kind of like payday loans
Okay.
style,
Oh,
where,
interesting.
it was like a shakedown a little bit. Not only are you collecting taxes like for the Roman government, who we're not huge fans of, but also you're kind of exploiting people at the same time. And so
Okay.
that's why they weren't very popular.
Okay. Yeah.
But Jesus was like, no, man, you can hang out with me. That's cool.
Right.
I mean, that's nice. That's nice.
When the Pharisees saw it, they said to his disciples, why does your teacher eat with tax collectors and sinners?
Now, so can I just read you the message real quick?
For sure.
When the Pharisees saw him keeping this kind of company, they had a fit and lit into Jesus's followers.
Oh,
I feel like he's
Who
getting...
the F is he with?
Yeah, he's getting a lot spicier now in the New Testament. He's more excited.
Didn't he write the New Testament first? Meaning, didn't
maybe.
Eugene
I don't know.
translate the New
Yeah,
Testament
I'm
first?
pretty
I
sure.
think that he did. And that makes me think that like he kind of got a little bored in the Old Testament, personally.
used up all his best stuff.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay. When Jesus heard it, he said to them, those who are healthy have no need for a physician, but those who are sick do. But you go and learn what this means. I desire mercy and not sacrifice, for I came not to call the righteous, but sinners to repentance. So I think the whole point of this is, yeah, I'm going to hang out with these people because these are the people who need this kind of support, need me
Me the most.
the most,
Yeah.
to make it sound real egotistical, yes.
Uh-huh.
Then John's disciples came to him saying,
Oh, like John, who we're going to get later
I
on.
think is this John the Baptist, the followers of John the Baptist, the other cult leader in this book?
Might be. Right.
Is he also a cult leader?
He could be. I don't know.
I thought he got his head cut off.
Not yet.
Okay, but he does. Cool.
Spoilers. Jeez.
What?
Jeez.
I know the Salome story
Goodness.
Okay, I'm gonna get us
because
back.
a lot of people have skated to it. Okay, go.
Oh my goodness. Then John's disciples came to him saying, "Why do we and the Pharisees fast often, but your disciples don't fast?" Like, you're having a great time. This sucks.
Huh.
Jesus said to them, "Can the friends of the bridegroom mourn as long as the bridegroom is with them? But the days will
Wait,
come."
so he's saying he's the bridegroom? To who? To God?
No.
Mm.
Let me finish. Let me get to the end of this and then we can try to interpret it. Can the friends of the bridegroom mourn as long as the bridegroom is with them? But the days will come when the bridegroom will be taken away from them, and then they will fast. No one puts a piece of unshrunk cloth on an old garment, for the patch would tear away from the garment and a worse hole is made. Neither do people put new wine into old wineskins, or else the skins would burst and the wine be spilled and the skins ruined. No, they put new wine into fresh wineskins, and both are preserved. Now, do you understand, Emily?
No? What? I kind of I lost the thread.
I could read you the message. That'd probably help.
Neither
Yeah.
do people put, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's verse 15. So they're saying, why do we all fast and you guys don't? Jesus told them, dog. Okay, I added that part. He did not say that.
Bro.
Jesus told them, when you're celebrating a wedding, you don't skimp on the cake and wine, you feast.
Okay.
Later, you may need to exercise moderation, but not now. No one throws cold water on a friendly bonfire. This is kingdom come, bro. Again, I added the bro. He didn't say that. He went on, no one cuts up a fine silk scarf to patch old work clothes. You want fabrics that match. And you don't put your wine in cracked bottles. It just leaves it there, yeah.
Oh, he just leaves it there.
Okay. So I feel like what he's saying is right now we're going to party hard because I'm alive.
Mhm.
And in a couple years, I'm going to get crucified and then all y'all can be sad about it. But right now, when I'm on earth and when God's like, yeah, man, stay on earth for a little while longer, I'm going to live it up.
I like
I
that.
mean, that is
With all
generally the
y'all.
interpretation I was given about this part. That is what he's, I mean,
Cool. Got it.
who knows if that's what Jesus himself was saying at the time, but that's definitely the way it's interpreted. It's like, dude, Jesus is here, dude. This is party time, party central. You can all be sad later.
Party hard, bro. Yeah, cool.
While he told these things to them, behold, a ruler came and worshipped him, saying, "My daughter has just died, but come and lay your hand on her and she will live." Jesus got up and followed him, as did his disciples. Behold, a woman... Oh gosh, okay. This is like layers of stories happening all at the same time. Okay, yes.
Yeah, really.
Behold, a woman who had an issue of blood for 12 years came behind him.
What?
This was always taught to me that what's wrong with this woman is like basically she's been like hemorrhaging for 12 years.
Okay, she'd be dead.
Oh, not constantly,
Well,
but
maybe like constantly menstruating.
Oh, interesting.
You know, that
Well,
like that. Similar issue, didn't mean to say that, but similar problem, right? Of like, she can't go to the temple because she's constantly unclean.
Of course.
Okay. Behold, a woman who had an issue of blood for 12 years came behind him and touched the tassels of his garment. For she said within herself, if I just touch his garment, I will be made well. But Jesus, turning around and seeing her, said, Daughter, cheer up. Your faith has made you well. And the woman was made well from that hour.
So she had menopause. Great.
Well, I'd never noticed this before, but the fact that she touched his tassel, I'm now picturing Jesus in like a cool jacket with
tassel boy?
tassels all down the sleeves, very like 70s
Like a-
rocker style. That's what I just pictured right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's good.
I love that. Okay, that's the outfit for Chitawell.
Chweddle.
Ejiofor.
Okay.
Chweddle. Yeah.
When Jesus came into the ruler's house and saw the flute players and the crowd in noisy disorder,
Oh.
I think they just started the funeral right away.
Sorry, I just looked.
Oh,
I just
okay.
glanced at the message, and
Couldn't help but glance.
so it says, by now they had arrived at the house of the town official and pushed their way through the gossips looking for a story and the neighbors bringing in casseroles.
What?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Oh my God. Okay. He
Yep.
said to them, Make room, because the girl isn't dead, but sleeping. They were ridiculing him. But when the crowd was put out, he entered in, took her by the hand, and the girl arose.
Dang.
The report of this went out into all that land. As Jesus passed by from there, 2 blind men followed him, calling out and saying, "Have mercy on us, Son of David." When he had come into the house, the blind men came to him. Jesus said to them, "Do you believe that I'm able to do this?" They told him, "Yes, Lord." Then he touched their eyes, saying, "According to your faith, be it done to you." Their eyes were opened. Jesus strictly charged them, saying, "See that no one knows about this."
Why does he? Yeah, why
he really
does
acts
he
kind of
say
sketch
that?
for all his
Yeah.
swagger.
Like he's doing stuff in front of people, but then also doing things and being like, "Don't tell anyone." And like, what's up with that?
Yes.
Why some people, not everyone?
I mean, I do think it kind of goes along with that idea of like, if you're gonna do cool shit, don't go show it off. So he's like, don't
But
make a big deal of it. Don't
do
make
it
a
in
big deal.
front of a bunch of people sometimes.
Right.
Whatever.
Oh,
Do it
yeah.
in front of all the casserole crowd.
Yeah. They need to see it.
But they went out and spread abroad his fame in all that land.
Mm.
As they went out, behold, it's just one after the other. Goodness
Yeah,
gracious.
seriously.
As they went out, behold, a mute man who was demon-possessed was brought to him. When the demon was cast out, the mute man spoke.
Yeah.
They didn't tell us what he said. I guess that's not really important. The multitudes marveled, saying, "Nothing like this has ever been seen in Israel."
I do get why the Romans were like, this guy's got to go.
He's getting the people too excited.
Yeah.
But the Pharisees said, "By the prince of the demons, he casts out demons." So the Pharisees are like, "Nah, it's the devil."
Takes one to know one. demon.
Jesus went about all the cities and the villages, teaching in their synagogues and preaching the gospel of the kingdom and healing every disease and every sickness among the people. But when he saw the multitudes, he was moved with compassion for them, because they were harassed and scattered like sheep without a shepherd. Then he said to his disciples, "The harvest indeed is plentiful, but the laborers are few. Pray, therefore, that the Lord of the harvest will send out laborers into his harvest." The end.
Thanks. Got it.
It's a lot that happened.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
miracle after
really.
miracle and faith healing after
Yeah.
faith healing. This guy is busy.
Truly.
Yeah, I just am continually interested to see, like, I don't know. I know Jesus is supposed to be a great guy, but part of me feels like he's showing off a little.
I mean, do the two have
And
to
maybe
be?
that's the point.
Do they have to be mutually exclusive?
No, you're right, Jace. And I feel like, because he is only here for a very short amount of time, he'd be dead by now if he were me. I would not exist if I were him, is basically what I'm
You
saying.
mean
33.
age-wise?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he was 33 when he died.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, basically,
Cool.
I feel like he feels as though he's got to get a lot done in a short amount of time and show off his coolness.
Yes, and party.
To people.
And party at the same
yeah.
time.
But I do wish that he had like a video camera to be like, look at, okay, everyone, guess what? He would be the initial influencer. He's like, hey,
Yeah.
what's up, YouTube? Like and subscribe this video. Today, I'm going to resurrect a dead girl. Woo! And then just
For
like,
free.
yeah, whatever, man. Like, see the casseroles over there? No problem. They can have them. They don't have to bring them here because this person's not going to be upset. They can cook for themselves because I'm about to revive this lady. So, anyways.
That's pretty good.
It's pretty good. I would make
Yeah.
the argument maybe Buddha might be the pre-influencer to Jesus.
Fair,
Buddha
yeah.
Sure.
does, predate him by about 500 years.
What did Buddha do to influence? Did he resurrect people?
That's a good question.
Yeah, how many dead girls did the Buddha resurrect?
Did he just tell everyone to be enlightened?
Yeah, okay. We'll have to do a little battle royale, miracles of the Buddha versus miracles of the Jesus.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
who would win? Who would win? And then
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to add it to the list. We should do a
Okay,
screening
yeah.
for ourselves of Saint Young Men, which is an amazing, amazing anime film about Jesus and
Oh, yeah.
Buddha being best friends going on vacation to Japan together. And
You've talked about this
it's
for
amazing.
years.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
amazing.
But also, people in the chat, John Dolph is saying that he wants Life of Brian, which I have also never
Yeah,
seen.
that's on the list.
Yep,
On
it's
the
on the
list.
list. Yep. I wanted to.
But should we do it after the 4?
Well, we need to get at least through one gospel,
Yeah.
maybe 2, so that you can understand the Jesus tropes, right?
Okay.
So you can then understand the Jesus jokes that are being made in all these films.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly. I think that Life of Brian will be great, but you need a little more experience before you're old
Mhm.
enough to
Mhm.
appreciate it. Yeah.
And to be ready to see a naked penis on
Yeah,
screen.
yeah. I should warn you.
Oh, I'm ready. I'm always
I
ready.
should warn you. There is a full-on penis right there in the frame. It was
Nothing I haven't seen before.
as a kid, it was the first time I ever saw one in a movie, and it was shocking. So
I think okay, my mom will know this because she was there. When the very first musical I ever saw on Broadway was The Full Monty.
Oh,
okay.
wow.
And my mom and I when I was 12 and the whole time I was like, the penis is going to come at the end. Oh my God. And it's really funny because it's just this like flash of light when they all like take off their
Right.
pants. And so you can see the silhouette, but not really anything. And it was over in a flash. And I was kind of like, that's it. I remember thinking that as a 12-year-old, like whatever. Yeah, my mom's like,
it was
it was
so
a
built up.
blackout. Yeah. Yeah, but it really wasn't that impressive. So
I
anyways.
forget where this was. I think it might have been on a podcast or something, but they were talking with the cast of that and they were sharing a story
Uh-huh.
that there was one night of the show where the light cue got messed up and the full-on lights were when they were facing forward instead of when they were
Yes.
facing backwards like it was
Yes.
supposed to be. And they were all just like,
Amazing.
well, that happened.
That's what it is. It's the
That's
full
what the
Monty.
show's
Yeah.
called. We
Yeah.
are doing it right now. Yeah, because the whole lead up is like to that moment. And then,
Right.
of course, it's like almost nothing. But
Yeah.
I wish I got to see that.
Well,
Then I could have seen a lot of like different shapes and sizes in one go.
Mhm.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Would have been a good,
Anyways, Life of
moment
Okay,
for a young
folks.
child.
Yeah.
Okay, folks.
12-year-old May. Okay, here we go. Anyways, thank you all for joining us for Bible study today. If you want to join the audience in our live stream shows, follow us on Twitch at Drunk Bible Study or go to drunkbiblestudy.com/live. If you want even more Drunk Bible Study, including early releases, cocktail recipes, personal toasts on the show, and more, become one of our patrons at patreon.com/drunkbiblestudy. If you enjoy the show, take a moment to subscribe and write us a nice review on iTunes, letting other people know what you like about it. You can also join fellow listeners in the Drunk Bible Study Fans and Fellowship Facebook group or on our Discord server at discord.drunkbiblestudy.com. Find us on Twitter at Drunk Biblecast, on Instagram at Drunk Bible Study, or send us an email to info@drunkbiblestudy.com. Drunk Bible Study is created and produced by Jace Lindgren, Dedeker Winston, and me, Emily Matlack. Our theme song is Book Club by Josh and Anand from their album Home of the. For more information, visit us at drunkbiblestudy.com.
I made a memory about your dad.